Hey Fred, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. Thanks. Good to be
Listen,
here with you.
I'm just taking this opportunity to talk about the Medellin Wellness Protocol, your book. And although I haven't read it, I know a lot about what you're already doing. And the questions that I have for you that people keep on asking me because I'm following your concept and your idea of how I eat now. Fruit. I'm each day for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I've been having fruit for breakfast. I eat a lot more fruit than I ever did in the last 2 or 3 years. But the question that people are always throwing back at me, it's going to spike your insulin levels. You're taking in all of that sugar. Can we just kind of like give me a few minutes just to clear that up for people?
My pleasure. Well, people use the word sugar to describe different, use the word sugar to cover all of them, which in itself is one of the challenges and the obstacles to understanding the subject, because not all molecules that are called sugar in English are the same thing. And some of them are extremely valuable, and some of them are extremely destructive. And so, you know, the idea that you're going to spike your sugar levels because you eat too much fruit is a total misunderstanding of the nature of the kind of sugar that's in fruit. Because the kind of sugar in fruit is called fructose. And fructose, when it's raw, meaning taking from a fruit without being cooked, is a very specific molecule with a lot of characteristics and a lot of constituencies that are designed specifically for us as primates. In other words, we're made to eat fruit. We run on fructose. Every one of our billions of cells requires fructose for fuel. And so the idea that you're going to spike your insulin levels when you eat fruit is another misunderstanding, because what actually creates a spike in insulin levels is when you eat too many vegetables. For example, drinking carrot juice. When you drink carrot juice, you will spike your insulin levels because carrots and other vegetables, they don't have fructose, they have glucose. And glucose is a sugar that's found in vegetables, and it's a secondary sugar to human beings. It's a secondary fuel source. In other words, it's not the one we really want. And so what happens in the human body is you eat a vegetable which has glucose, not fructose. And because you have glucose and your body doesn't know how to really absorb that perfectly, you have a mechanism. That mechanism is called the use of insulin. And so your body produces insulin in order to get the glucose into the cell. But that is something that does not happen and is not needed when you eat fruit, because fruit and the fructose enters into the cell through osmosis, through really just absorption without the need of glucose. So you don't spike your sugar. In fact, people with type 2 diabetes, they really want to eat fruit in order to start to heal themselves, in order to stop eating dairy. I mean, when it comes to, blood sugar levels and the diabetes question, really dairy is one of the greatest culprits.
Well,
And
I
so,
have to say, I'll pause you there because about 2 or 3 years ago, it might be hereditary, I don't know, but my mother, she suffered with arthritis, and 2 or 3 years ago, I was starting to have pains in my fingers when I'd get up in the mornings. It was almost like it was a cramping feeling, and I have all but cut out dairy. And this year, it's taken a while. This year, I haven't woken up with no pain whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Those rheumatoid arthritis types of things, all of these types of what they call autoimmune things that they don't understand, all of this is coming from a diet that is not aligned to our anatomy. I mean, if you took an animal in the zoo and you fed it something that it's not designed to eat, the animal's going to either get sick or it's going to die. And it's the same for us. We're not an exception. We are a species. And when we eat cooked sugars, just to finish the question about sugar, anytime someone drinks a Coca-Cola, or if I drink a Coca-Cola, that I have never drinking one, that's sugar, that's refined sugar, that's cooked sugar. That is even worse than anything you could really imagine. The types of problems that come from eating refined sugars, cooked sugars, is devastating. And so people say sugar, and then they speak about what's in a fruit as if that's the same thing as what you drink in a Gatorade. This is just the the inability of people to understand precisely what's going on. It's really lack of education. And that's kind of why my mission is education. I don't want to tell people what to do, but I do want to tell people why they may want to do things in a different way, and give them the reasons and let them kind of decide for themselves, kind of the way I operate.
A lot of people, they always say to me, it's not about your diet, it's about your metabolism. And our diet can affect our metabolism. Is this true?
Well, there is truth to that, in the sense for weight loss, in sense of weight, like how much a person weighs, that is very much related to the person's metabolism. Me, for example, I cannot gain weight if I wanted to. There's no way. There's nothing I could do to gain weight. I could eat 25 brownies in a row and I'm not going to gain weight, because that's a metabolism thing. But that's not speaking about health. And so people need to understand a huge distinction between talking about weight loss and versus talking about health. And one of the biggest misunderstandings is when people relate weight loss to health, as if they say, oh, you want to get healthier, lose weight. But no, that's not the case. Because if you lose weight the wrong way, you will get less healthy. Okay. And so this is what we all have to understand, is that weight loss is good and weight loss is important, but only when done in a context of healing the body from within.
Excellent. Fred, the book and the Medellin Wellness Center, what can a person take from your book?
Well, the book is called the Medellin Wellness Protocol, the 5 fundamental factors to strengthen your immune system. And, as we know, the immune system is the most important part of our ability to live with well-being in this world today, as much as any other time. And so that's what this is about. And it's about understanding that it's not just one thing that we all have to apply in our lives, but rather there's 5 things. And when we apply all 5 of those things together, we create a positive feedback cycle within our life, and we start really seeing benefits accumulate and kind of aggregate. And those 5 factors are: how do we eat? In other words, how are we relating to food? And as explaining that we're primates, so we want to eat mostly fruit if possible. We don't want to eat meats or flesh foods or dairies whenever possible. The second factor is, how are we exercising? Okay, so exercise every day. There's, you could see around you the different options, the jump, the weights, the yoga, the different ways of moving but we got to do it every day. How are we thinking? How are we using our mind? Because our mind can either be our best friend or it could be our worst enemy. And we really have to take responsibility for what is kind of operating on the screen that we're watching. And in other words, we can use our awareness to experience higher states of consciousness. And that's the bottom line. And then the 4th factor is, how are we resting? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we resting? Or are we always deprived of sleep? Because that's brutal, and that's really destructive to the immune system. And the final factor is, how are we able to avoid toxins, poisons in daily life? And those toxins and poisons, most of them come through the food, but certainly not all of them. The different creams people use, and the shampoos and the toothpaste and the sprays that you use in the bathroom, and the car fresheners, and those are all made of chemicals that are really, really poisonous. And if we can begin to avoid them, our immune system and our bodies, it functions better. And so those 5 things, you put them together. And so what is the Medellin Wellness Center? Well, it's a place here in Colombia, outside of Medellin. It's kind of like a paradise. It's 20 acres. It's got fruit trees and berries and a river and a natural spring of water, a natural pool. We have butterflies and hummingbirds and a yoga studio, and and we're eating this incredible fresh fruit from Colombia, and that has a lot of power. And so the Medellin Wellness Center is a place.
It's very much a lifestyle change, then, Fred, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I personally don't use the word lifestyle, because I find that it intimidates people and it kind of scares people into thinking, oh, I got to change my lifestyle. Well, call it what you want. What you have to do is you have to apply certain variables into your life and then get to experience the benefits. I mean, that's what this is. This is about living like a human
Easy
being.
to do when you're living in a city.
Yes, it is. It is easy to do. It's easy to do anything that you set your mind to, period. You make a decision, that's easy at that point, because 100% of anything is easy and 99% is a bitch when you start thinking about, am I going to make an exception here? But I've lived in a city and I've been eating the same way, and I've been doing yoga every day, and I've done that my whole life for at least the last 25 years. So there's no excuse for where you are now. Of course, in a city is more challenging. That's why we made Medellin Wellness Center for people who have the ability, who have the resources, and who want to heal themselves of something that might be developing within themselves, some medical condition, or they want to prevent, or they just want to rest and relax. So there would be a lot of reasons to come here.
You use the word medical. Are they receiving medication, or is this natural healing?
No. What I mean is that they've been given a medical diagnosis. Now, I don't really necessarily share the naming protocols that the medical doctors use, to give a name to everything. But for example, they've been given a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. So that's a medical diagnosis. And they could come here for 3 or 4 weeks and probably heal themselves of that. That's an example. Okay, someone has heart disease and they want to take 3 months, they want to reverse it. Yeah,
things like psoriasis.
That is another example of something that can be healed with time and with the application of these variables, because these things they're not accidents. They're coming because we're causing them.
Have you seen, sorry to stay with psoriasis, it just came to my mind. Have you actually seen for yourself somebody who's had psoriasis for life actually recover from it, or it to disappear?
No, because I'm not in the world of working with individuals and handling all of their personal cases. But my teacher has, and I'm sure if you were to go to the YouTube channel of my primary teacher in this subject, Dr. Robert Morse, you would find lots of people talking about psoriasis and how it's been healed. But in personal experience, no. I don't usually really have a lot of personal clients that I work with.
On a day-to-day basis in the Wellness Center, what could I expect as a person that's going to visit there if I'm there for a week?
Well, every day is going to be pretty much similar, because that's how we are operating, to give you the full experience every day. So in the morning, early morning is yoga practice. Between 6 and 7 we would start, and then that would be followed by meditation. The meditations could be quite substantial, 45 minutes to an hour. Of course, there's a lot of explanation of what meditation is and how to use it, because meditation can be very powerful if you do understand how the subconscious mind operates, and then how to, apply, a different level of operating system into the mind. And that happens in meditation. And then, of course, we're going to do breakfast, smoothies in the morning. When you're coming to heal, you're coming into a place where you're going to be eating mostly fruit and 100% raw if you're coming to heal. Now, if you're only coming for rest and relaxation, then there might be some other type of food in addition into your menu. After breakfast, there's a hike. We hike the property, bird watching, and we go down to the river. In the river, there's a pool, and the pool is made of natural spring water that's coming out of the mountain, and we've collected it into a pool, like a waterfall. And so it's a cold water plunge. And so if your immune system is up for it, we do a cold water plunge, and it's just amazing. Right now, yeah, but you say no, but it's really nice. Nobody wants to do it, but once you're done with it, it's amazing. I go every day. We have a sauna right next to it, so we crank the sauna up, and so that way a person could sweat and then do the cold plunge. And it's all down by the river, and it's just so beautiful. And we hike back up, and we hike up through the raspberries and the blackberries. Nice. And so you're coming up, and we're eating blackberries on our way up. They're all fresh. They're all out there as we speak. And then, get ready for a little rest and relaxation, and then lunch. Okay. Afternoon, we could probably do some horseback riding or something fun like that. And then a yoga class in the afternoon, a different style of yoga. an inspirational movie in the evening time on the big screen. And then, questions and answers, dinner. And that's it. We go to sleep early, we wake up early, and, we're here to rest. We're not here to, be trying to, entertain ourselves in the late nights.
And what do you say to people that bring their laptop and mobile phones?
Look, I actually think it's a good idea, depending on what they're coming for. If you want to come, they could come for 3 months and live here and take advantage and write a book here. And yeah, we do have, as you can see, I'm on the internet right now, and I've invested a lot to have a decent internet. Now, of course, if the person is not requiring the internet and doesn't need to get into the digital world, and it's not helping their healing protocol, then we can let it go. But some people need to keep working, and they need to keep living their life. And nowadays, everyone can do everything online for the most part. And so I think that it's a good idea, especially for people that want to come long term. And I have special rates for the monthly people that want to come on a monthly basis, because a lot of this stuff really takes time. It takes weeks and weeks and months to heal yourself of something that you have taken 40 or 50 or 60 years to build in. The idea that you're going to take what you have created over 60 years and reverse it in a few days. It's not realistic.
No,
it's not realistic.
And is your protocol, is it available as a program to people around the world, Fred? Is there something that we could actually, in the book, is there a program that we can follow? Or is the book really educational about what you're actually doing?
It's really educational. Yeah, I don't map out hey, eat 3 bananas in the morning and then do this in the afternoon. I can do that with people individually. I can work with people privately online, and that's part of what I do. But I don't. While I do believe that we're all primates and we're all humans and we all need to eat the same way, I also don't necessarily believe in prescriptions like that, because some people just can't get bananas, and if I say have 3 mangoes and they say, well, I can't get mango, then I'm going to have a lot of people asking me, well, what about apples? So my whole thing is that people need to understand what to do. What to do is to eat as much fruit as you possibly can, and as little as everything else as you possibly can, to the point where you could eat 100% raw food for months and months and months and heal yourself. And if you have neurological issues, or if you have real deep things, well, that's 100% fruit for a long time. You can do that in London if you need to. You could do that anywhere where you can get fruit. The reason why I recommend people to come here is that no matter where you are, you could never get the kind of fruit that you could get here, and it would never be as good. Unless you're in South America or you're in Asia, which also has a lot of tropical fruit. But other than there's no way. And so that's why I really believe that this place is important as a resource for people.
When we last spoke, Fred, the center wasn't fully functional. Is it now fully functional?
Yeah, it's fully functional. Absolutely.
So once COVID's over with, people should start looking at coming to stay.
Yeah, I've already had clients come in. I mean, it's very few because they couldn't get here. But I had a client who was already in Colombia at the time. That was a couple months ago, and she came for a couple weeks and really enjoyed it and really appreciated it and did everything I described. And obviously we're not full, but I've got the staff here and I'm ready to go, and absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Fred, what can I say? Thank you so much for your time. And I know that we're going to be looking out for your book, and may I wish you every success with the book and with the center. So thank you very much, Fred. Okay.
Thanks for your time, and appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you very much.